luck, guys. What I'm thankful for is, I would say, my daughter's health. Surprisingly, she did not get sick at all during this time period from, I think, almost 2019. She's not gotten sick, and she's a toddler, so she touches every little thing. But I'm so thankful for her health. And I remember when she was a baby, because I didn't breastfeed and I formula fed her, I always thought she was going to get sick, but it was the opposite. She never gets sick.
Wow. So you just never know.
I know. I'm going to knock on my wood here. But yeah, that's what I'm thankful for.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Floyd. I know you had told me ahead of time that you would have to hop off early. So I started recording from this point, so I can send you the recording so you can see what you missed.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Smith.
It
was nice to meet everybody.
Nice to meet you. Have a good class.
Bye.
All right, so we're going to continue on. So I want to share this brief video that talks a little bit about STEM. Some of you maybe have heard what STEM education is. We're sharing this because one of the areas of our grant, we want to touch on trying to encourage, inspire, support students who maybe want to pursue a STEM focus in your teaching, but it's not a requirement, but it is something that is really, really recognized and pushed in the education world today. And this video is going to kind of tell us a little bit about why that is. All right, here we go.
STEM. It's one of the most talked about topics in education. But what exactly is STEM? STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, but it's more than that. STEM has grown to represent a unique approach to teaching and learning, one that centers around individual students' learning styles and interests. This means STEM education has something to offer every student. Unlike traditional education experiences in which subject areas are concentrated on separately, STEM education emphasizes technology and integrates subjects in ways that connect disciplines and relate them to each other. So why is STEM getting so much attention? STEM moves beyond simple test performance and focuses on developing higher-level thinking skills by connecting classroom learning to the real world. STEM emphasizes collaboration, communication, research, problem-solving, critical thinking, and creativity, skills that students need to be successful in today's world, regardless of specific interests or career goals. STEM is a direct response to the realization that our future will be built on our capacity for innovation, invention, and creative problem solving. Unfortunately, the United States is falling behind internationally, ranked 17th in science and 25th in mathematics among industrialized nations. It will become more and more difficult to remain competitive in the global economy. However, as a result of STEM implementation over the last decade, the number of 4th grade students performing at or above basic levels in math has grown almost 30%. The evidence is out there, and it points to STEM education being a vital part in the future of the American education system and our ability to effectively train future global innovators and world leaders. STEM.
Oops.
It's one of
the- All right, so is there anything from that video that stood out to you or that surprised you or maybe you didn't already know? Anyone want to share just quickly? Okay, well, you can tell from the video that one of the goals of STEM is not only to better prepare our students for competitive academic pursuits as well as in the workplace, but also something that stood out to me in the video is this idea that STEM integrates different disciplines. So even though STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math, there's definitely a connection that STEM brings between social studies, English, the other humanities subjects. And so even though you may not think you want to be a science teacher or a math teacher or one of the other STEM focused areas, but something else that was mentioned in the video that I think is really important to highlight is that STEM emphasizes different ways of thinking that are across the board. So things like creativity, communication, collaboration, research, problem-solving skills, critical thinking skills. So thinking about those sorts of disciplines or ways of thinking are universal, and those are things that we want to emphasize in the ways that we teach children. These are the sorts of skills that we want to help develop in children, right? We want them to be able to collaborate. We want them to be able to problem solve and think critically. And so STEM kind of inherently fosters those skills, but those are skills that we want to stress and emphasize in any content area. And so I think that's really important. So I'm going to share a few benefits of being a teacher. And I know that some of you may not want to be a teacher per se, like in the classroom, but our program supports, like we have Isaiah who wants to go into psychology, and that's amazing. So if you want to be a psychologist or a school psychologist, maybe you want to be a counselor or you want to be a speech language pathologist. I know some of you are interested in special education, so maybe you want to be a physical therapist, an occupational therapist, a child life specialist. So even though we're called the Teacher Pathway Program, we have kind of a broad term or a broad way of looking at it. So as any field that is related to education, that's in education or related to education, like education adjacent. So we just want to keep that in mind. But for the sake of specificity with teachers, here are some benefits to being a teacher. So one is that there's competitive salary and benefits. And I know that kind of universally we all say teachers don't get paid enough. And while I agree that that's true, a teacher salary can be a pretty competitive salary, right? You can look online and find publicly teacher salary scales for any of the local districts, any districts that you're interested in, like LAUSD, Culver City Unified, Beverly Hills Unified, Compton Unified. The list goes on. You can find the salary scale, and the salary scales are based on usually two components: the number of years of experience and the number of units that you have past your bachelor's degree. So that means that as a teacher, there is kind of built-in incentive for you to continue pursuing your learning, right? And so a lot of us say we want to be lifelong learners, and I hope most teachers feel that way. Well, most districts kind of embed that into the salary. So they want you to continue taking classes, and then the more units you have, the more pay you get. And then every year, as you're gaining experience, you also move across on the salary scale. So that's pretty nice. Also, job options. Now, again, this program doesn't only support STEM, but STEM teachers are in high demand, also special education. So if those are areas that you're interested in, then just know that there's going to be an abundance of jobs, especially now that COVID is happening. There's going to be an even higher rate of teachers retiring. They're like, I'm jumping ship. I don't want to deal with this virtual learning. I'm going to go ahead and take my retirement. So there's going to be an even bigger demand for teachers because a lot of teachers who are currently in the field are going to be retiring. One of the other beautiful things about teaching is you get summers off. Now, many of you who work in schools, or if you're already teaching, will say there's really no break. We work all year round. Now, those who really are good at what they do and who really care about what they do, technically, yeah, but you do typically get paid year-round, even though you're not officially teaching in the summer. Now, if you do teach in the summer, usually that's to supplement your income, which is nice. You can travel. You know, my husband's also a teacher, so it's really nice for us to have summers off and we can do things with the family. We can travel. You can teach in another country if you want. And if you think about it, teachers, our brains are going always 24/7. We're always planning, looking for resources for our students, preparing for the next school year. And if you think about it, what other professions embed a big chunk of time in the year for you to plan, right? If you think about corporate jobs or jobs in the medical field, they don't give you time off to plan. They don't say, well, we're going to give you the summer off, and during that time you can do what you want to do, including plan. So that's, to me, another really big perk of having summers off. You can choose to supplement your income if you want to work, or you can choose to travel and live it up, right? And, you know, enjoy your well-deserved vacation. Or you can use that time to plan and to prepare your resources for the next school year, and or a combination of those things, right? So you can also address the teacher shortage. As I mentioned, that number is going to go much higher, the shortage number, because a lot of teachers are going to be retiring. And then you can also, what's most important, change the life of a child. So think about, if you think back to all of the teachers you've ever had in your life, think all the way back as far as you can remember, preschool if you can, and think about a teacher who has inspired you in some way, who has impacted you in some way. And that can be a very, very positive experience. Someone who showed you things that you never imagined, taught you things that really intrigued you, helped spark your interest, somebody who really supported you and inspired you and told you, you know what, you can do it. Somebody who really saw you for who you were, who encouraged you. And maybe that teacher, you thought, wow, I want to be like that person. I want to change someone's life the way that that teacher did. It could also be a teacher that maybe had a negative impact, maybe somebody who was not very nice and who was discouraging and who told you that you couldn't do it, or someone who didn't treat you kindly, someone who made you feel less than or inferior, or who even humiliated you, which is horrible, right? But we know that there are teachers out there like that. And sometimes students say, I never want another child to feel the way that that teacher made me feel. And so I want to go and I want to kind of reverse it. I want to give back, and I want to kind of reverse and repair the damage that that teacher did to me and to others. And so to me, that's really profound. And if you think about it, to me, what gives me chills really is when you think about it, it's not just a child whose life you're changing. Think about the exponential effects, like the domino effect. When you change one child's life, think about how your impact changes that child's family and how that can trickle outward into the neighborhood, into the community, and it just goes on. And you have a class of 20, think about how far reaching your impact is, not just those 20 children, but everything that that child interacts with. You think about those of you who've taken like Child Development 11, and we learn about Bronfenbrenner's ecological theory model and how you have the child in the middle and how the child interacts with all of the different spheres, the mesosphere and the exosphere, and how all of those things connect. It's pretty fascinating and pretty amazing. So I think it goes without saying that there are many, many benefits to being a teacher. So like I said, change a child's life. Wouldn't you love to see smiles on kiddos like that when they're exploring science or any other cool new learning that they're doing in the classroom, and those good old summers off? All right, so I'm going to turn it over to Professor Horowitz, and he's going to talk more specifically about the STEM program and what perks you have being part of this program.
Thanks, Marini. So as you can see here, we offer quite a few benefits from being part of this program. As I like to say, when I was in school, I used to seek out like minds. And in many ways in school, I'm not saying I was an unhappy student, but I always felt like I was behind and I was struggling, and I was maybe one of the only people not figuring things out. So I found finding, camaraderie amongst other classmates was really helpful. When I started moving more into my area of interest, I found support from those students who had similar interests was very, very helpful. They've taken similar classes, and we can share those, who's the right professors to take, and just essentially, or we're applying for programs, and you can share that knowledge of applications. There's just a lot we get when we are able to share our minds. There isn't one person who knows everything. So I learned not as quick as I wish I would have, but I learned that it's good to surround myself as best as possible around my fellow classmates who had a similar mindset. We offer priority advising. We know how that can be a challenge at the community college level, but it's important to know that what the path you're on is the correct path for you, that you're taking the right classes, that you're not wasting precious time, that everybody's schedules are so crazy, and families and friends, and keeping our minds sane, making sure that we're doing the right thing. So we want to make sure that the classes you're taking for what you want to do or where you want to transfer to that you're not taking needless classes. Free textbook loans. I think that could be a good incentive for people being here and for telling your friends about this program. Textbooks, the price of textbooks, I can put this as scientifically as possible, suck. The cost is insanity. I mean, when I was a college student in the 80s and 90s, I thought they were ridiculous. And seeing it now, it's, the fact that things can get more ridiculousness is ridiculous. So, we are fortunate that we have the funds to be able to help with that. So we hope you'll take advantage of that. And on our webpage, as well as on our Canvas site, we have information for the textbook loans on there for you. Also laptop loans, right? It almost feels like laptops have gotten cheaper while textbooks have gotten more expensive. Explain that one to me. I guess maybe paper's still you still got to grow it, I guess. But now that we're at home, and even when we're hopefully back in person, you can have access to brand new Microsoft Surface laptop, and that can help with your educational goals. So we offer those as well. And the great thing with the textbooks and laptops now with this whole pandemic is they just get sent to you in the mail, or UPS or FedEx. I'm not sure which we're using. We have teacher credential exam prep. So you have to take these exams to be credentialed to teach. And we want to make sure that you are on that right path, so that you're studying the right material and you're not wasting precious time. And so that we can get you these exam preps and ensure that you're going to pass that first time around, or at least prepare you for what you need to do to successfully pass those exams. We offer fieldwork opportunities, and again, these things are on hold because of the pandemic, but we will help coordinate and connect you with people in the field and things that you're interested in doing, so you can see firsthand what they're experiencing, and as well as hear from them. What did they think they did right or they did wrong? Or there's that old saying, I wish I knew then what I know now. So let them impart that knowledge on you. Go to the people who have experienced it. Also, real world experiences in STEM. For those of you who are interested in STEM, we understand the necessity for getting hands-on work, seeing how things are being conducted in a laboratory or at a research facility or at a school that focuses on teaching for STEM. And that would be the same for any of our fieldwork opportunities. And again, due to the pandemic, those are on hold, as with our field trips. And so once we can start reestablishing these things, I know we're looking at virtual field trips to try to take advantage of technology as best we can. We have one coming up for UCLA for a campus tour. But these would be field trips to schools, research institutions. In LA, we're so fortunate to have so much really in our backyard. So hopefully these things will become available as the pandemic lessens and we're back in person. And so we also look to you, students, for advice on what do you want to see? Where do you want to go? So please, give us some ideas. And then, of course, guest speakers in the field. We'll bring in people and have panels of experts and people in these careers. So again, that you can hear firsthand and get their knowledge on and get your questions answered from people who are actually doing what you may want to be doing.
Awesome. Thank you, Professor Horwitz. Here are just a few pictures of various activities that have been done in the past with students. Some of them are from Southwest College when I was working with a program called Urban Teacher Fellowship, which is a very similar program. Some of them are West students. So here we're at Cal State Los Angeles. Here we were at La Tijera Park. It was just kind of an end of the semester. Let's celebrate. Let's come and have a picnic and bring our kids, our families. We're at the Museum of Tolerance here. Leadership positions with SCTA, which is the student version of the Teacher Union California Teachers Association. So we're here in in Newport Beach. And that was amazing. And when you're part of organizations like SCT, they pay for your trip and students get to have leadership roles. CBEST prep here took place as well. Down here at the bottom, we were at the Museum of Tolerance as well. It was a great trip. Some of you here were there, I believe, some of you here on this call. And here are some upcoming events. I definitely can add more here. We have a few more things that have been added. I didn't update this slide before today. But we have a website, and you will be able to view our calendar of events, which is really, really the best way to keep track of upcoming events. So to be in this program, we have 2 asks. And Professor Horowitz, you know, I always ask you to put the links in because you're so much faster at it. If you can put the link in for, I think we want to put in the program expectations and maybe the Teacher Pathways website. I already put the link in for the orientation sign in, but I think the program expectation, or should we take them through the website and they can see it and get it all there at once? That might be better.
Okay, yeah, and I'll have it ready to be up there once we've gone through it.
Okay, sounds good. So I'm going to go quickly because I know we're running out of time. One of the next upcoming events is today at 4 o'clock is our monthly meeting. So in order to be a part of the program, we ask for 2 things. I'm talking quickly because I know we're running out of time. 2 things is, one is you're a West student, and that means even if you're just taking 1 class at West, you are a West student as far as we're concerned. And the second thing is that you have a passion or an interest for pursuing a career in an educational related field. So and that's everyone here. So the other ask is that you attend at least 1 Teacher Pathway sponsored event. And so when you go to this website here, there's a calendar. I also send out emails. You will also become part of the Canvas site. So those of you who received a welcome letter, you should have had links in that welcome letter to all of these different elements, like how to enroll into our Canvas course, how to self-enroll. There's a link to self-enroll into the Canvas course. And then there you'll find everything. You'll find, you know, access to different events, and you also have to log your 1 event once per month. So that's what we ask. We just ask that you log in your event once per month, just show documentation that you attended, and then you're good to go for that month. So we have, for example, as Professor Horowitz mentioned, actually tomorrow we have the UCLA virtual campus tour, and then next week on the 17th we have the UCLA virtual information session. On the 18th we have the Intro to Child Life Specialist, which is sponsored by Children's Hospital, and that's going to be amazing. And again, you should attend at least 1 event per month and log it into our Canvas site. So can I get a volunteer to read this quote? Just unmute and start reading. It's one of our favorite quotes. It kind of really sums up how we feel about this profession.
Engineers make bridges, artists make paintings, scientists make rockets, but teachers make them all.
Woohoo! I'm gonna give that some snaps because that sums it up, right? No matter what amazing career you have, and the ones that have more prestige, how did you get there? It was a teacher. A teacher brought you that knowledge, right? And inspired you and guided you through. So a teacher is behind all of it. All right, so there's our contact info once again. So I'm gonna stop sharing for just a moment, and I'm gonna briefly take you to, we have a few minutes left. I'm gonna briefly take you to our Canvas site. Sorry for all my notifications. I was trying to figure out how to mute it. Okay, so. Okay. I'm going to start sharing again so that I can show you our Teacher Pathways Canvas site. I'm sure all of you are very familiar with Canvas now. If you weren't before, you definitely have become more familiar in the past several months. So when you get to our homepage, you'll see all of the most recent announcements appear. As you can see, there are a lot of announcements. So you're getting lots of reminders about things, lots of notifications about upcoming events. So it's really, really important that you check in with the Canvas site often. And you're on Canvas anyway, so it's just like another tab that you have to click on your dashboard. So I'm gonna show you the modules, and I don't know, Greg, do you wanna kind of walk through the stages for how they should be going through the modules?
Sure.
Okay.
So you can see here, we have a welcome video that just kind of goes through this. If you need any refresher on this Canvas site, it's, I don't know, what, 4 minutes? Or maybe even shorter.
Oh, it's 7. It says it's 7:51.
Oh, 7, okay. So there's not much to it, but it's just going through this page. So if we go to the next,
Oh, sorry. Let me go back to modules. It didn't let me click next. Okay.
and so you see here's a welcome letter that I'm sure most of you have received from Dr. Smith. If you haven't received the welcome letter, but there's all the active links in there, our contact info, and just, you know, what's expected of you as part of this program, and wonderfully very little. Hopefully just to you know, take advantage of what we have to offer. So here's our teacher pathways program expectations form. And so just read through the program expectations. Essentially, you want to maintain, let's see, I have it here so that I make sure I'm reading it correctly. Maintain enrollment in at least one class at West per semester. So you can essentially take golf and, you know, be part of our program. Participate in at least one teacher pathways program approved activity per month and log hours in the Canvas shell. If you're unsure, if you found something that we didn't point you to, just reach out to us. But I'm sure it's pretty easy to justify why something could have a higher education benefit to you. Attend at least 75% of our monthly meetings each semester. Abide by the guidelines for free textbook rentals, which essentially means is when you're done using them, you need to return them. And that would be the same for the laptop loans, that when you're no longer using it or no longer enrolled or no longer part of the program, that you return the items to us. And so you would then click you agree, you've read the expectations, type your last name, first name, your student ID, your campus, and your personal email, and you click submit, and you are moving right ahead.
Yep. All right. And then the textbook loan.
Here's our textbook loan instructions. So read through this. We don't want to waste your time reading it for you, but it's pretty straightforward. Any questions you have or any issues you have, you can contact the bookstore. They're awesome. They're there they want to help you get this material. It's important to note that only items that are marked for rent can be rented. You can't use books that are like workbooks for the class, or lab books or things like that are generally meant to be written in, that aren't returnable or rentable. But any questions with there, again, please contact us. To get access to the laptops, you need to complete the laptop loan program information sheet. And then that way we have your mailing address and your contact information, and that way we can track you and actually get in contact with you to let you know that a laptop's on the way, and any other questions we may have pertaining to the laptop. But take advantage of it. You know, they're sitting there, brand new laptops. So
Yeah, we got
if
plenty.
you don't use them, I'm going to enroll my daughters in school and get them to get one. So get them first. And then at the end, you essentially do a checklist to say that you completed reviewing those items. And it's really straightforward. Question 1, you've read the welcome letter and you agree to it. Yes. You've completed the program expectation forms. Yes. And you've reviewed the textbook loan instructions, and you click yes and submit. And there you go. You're all legal with our program. Everything's set. And I like to say it's kosher. So now we can just move forward and you can take advantage of everything that our program has to offer.
Awesome. Thank you, Professor Horwitz. So what questions do you have for us? We have about 2 minutes. The next step, hopefully all of you will be available for the next hour. For our monthly meeting, we have presenters from the Michael Eisner School of Education from Cal State Northridge. They'll be presenting. We also have a student who's going to be leading our intro activity, which is going to be exciting. They're going to lead us through a meditation activity because we really, again, as Professor Horwitz said, we really want to make this your a very organic and worthwhile and valuable experience. So we don't want to be talking at you like this every time we meet. We want you all to kind of take leadership positions and facilitate activity. So what questions do you have before we sign off? So Professor Horwitz, I don't know if I think you already put some links in the chat. So that is our website. I am going to put in the chat the link to the Zoom for the next meeting if you want to attend. Hopefully you all can, because now that you are officially oriented into the program, you can participate in all of the different activities that we offer. So while I'm pulling up the link for the next meeting, and for those of you who maybe didn't get that, what questions do you have? Any questions?
How long is the next meeting, Dr. Smith?
3 to 4. I'm sorry, from 4 to 5, so it's 1 hour.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. So I'm putting the link in the chat right now. Link to meeting. I'll put it in again so that you can
If we
see what it
can't make
is.
this meeting, is there any way we can watch it and go through it?
So we will record it. Just know that when it's by viewing the recording, that does not substitute for the 75% of meetings that you need to attend. So that means out of 4, we usually do 1 per month. So if you think of a semester, that's 4 meetings per semester. So you need to attend 3 out of 4, like virtually live attend, not watching it on your own attend. So if you can't attend the one at 4, that's fine, but just know that you'll need to attend the next 3.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so hopefully all of you received the link to the monthly meeting, because you do need to register. And once you register, you'll get the Zoom link to join. Okay, so I'm going to wait for another 30 seconds, and then I'll have to end this meeting and start the next meeting. And hopefully I'll see some of you at the next meeting. Everyone completed the orientation sign-in that was in the beginning of this meeting. If anyone did not receive it, please let me know so we can put it back in the chat, because remember, that note goes to the bookstore, and that if your name's not on that list, they're not going to let you use TPP grant funds to get your textbook.
You emailed it to us, right?
No, it was in
No.
the chat.
Okay, I didn't sign
I
it.
completed everything, so I'll see
Awesome.
you.
We'll see you. Okay.
Have a good one.
You're very
Thank you.
welcome. See you
Bye.
soon. So I just put it in the chat again, right at the bottom. Please complete the orientation sign-in. So if you didn't complete that, make sure you do. Professor Horwitz, do you want to start the other meeting? And I'll be there in like 30 seconds, because I know Jacqueline will be there. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Nice to meet everyone. See you
Bye,
soon.
Professor Horwitz. Okay. Is there anyone else? Hi, Isaiah. Is there anyone else who did not complete the sign-in? Isaiah, did you have a question?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Okay. So make sure that you complete it again. I don't want to stress out enough. If you don't complete the orientation sign-in, you're not going to be in that approved list to get the free laptop or the free textbook loans.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. And the link for the monthly meeting also in the chat, which starts now. We're going to go ahead and end this meeting to go to the other one. I know the presenter, she's celebrating her son's birthday at 5. So she's like, I have a hard stop at 5. I can't stay past 5. We're like, okay, no worries. So I'm going to go ahead and end this meeting. Thank you all for taking the time to join us today. So now you are officially oriented. So now you are officially in the program, and I hope to see you soon and often. Okay, bye.